Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have the enemies tag. The enemies tag was created by Steve Donahue in response to Emily of Noval Novels' friends tag. As with Emily's original tag, it takes each letter from the word enemies and asks a question. Let's begin. E is for enemies. How many enemies do you currently have? I only mentioned this recently in my wool gathering video. I don't like to think of people as enemies. I think it's dangerous to think of people as enemies. I personally have people that I disagree with. There are people that I no longer communicate with, and there are people that I no longer wish to have in my life, but I don't think of them. I think when it comes to enemies, you're constantly thinking about that person with some sort of malice or some sort of hatred. But basically, I don't like those sorts of feelings. I don't like feeling angry or having any sort of temper. I like to try and remain calm and relaxed. And so I think thinking of anyone in enemy terms just leads to feeling a certain type of way. Therefore, it seems that if I dislike someone or I don't get on with someone, I remove them from my life. I don't think of them. And there have been instances where I have said to family members with regards to other family members, just don't speak to me about this person. I don't mind you having a relationship with them. That's fine. I don't wish to. It's the same with friends and acquaintances. If I don't wish to associate with somebody, I'll just say, that's fine. You enjoy their company. I don't. We don't have to make it into a thing. They're welcome to go and live their life, and I just don't have to have anything to do with it. N is for new release. Are there any November 2020 releases on your TBR? I moved this to 2021 because I can't be bothered going and looking back. So with November 2021, I went for Gilded by Marissa Meyer, which is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling that I discovered was going to exist this morning, and this releases on November the 2nd. Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicles was the last YA series that I read in 2015, and I remember really enjoying that and reading those books over a number of days. Another book that I considered putting here was the Curse Workers book by Holly Black, which is a bind-up of books that were released whilst I was at uni. They are some of the only young adult fiction that I kept on my shelves from that time. So this bind-up is going to feature White Cat, Red Glove, and Black Heart. When I was at uni, these were some of my favourite young adult fiction to read. They follow Cass, who is this curse worker, and each person, it's kind of like Magic for the Mob, is the only way I can describe it. They were dark. It was like crime noir set in an alternate universe, and I remember thoroughly adoring it. And in terms of writing, I felt like here Holly Black did really well with plants and payoffs, and for a young adult series at the time, it was some of my favourite writing and felt closer to adult. So the fact that it's getting in a bind up and people are going to be able to appreciate it again makes me happy. E is for enrage. What does it take for a complete stranger to enrage you? I don't like ignorance, and I don't like people being mean. And I think that I have chronicled one issue that I have had, which was with a customer late last year when I'd gone out into the shop and I just asked her to use the hand sanitizer, and this led to a bit of an argument in the shop, and I just left the shop and said my manager would have to deal with her because I wasn't doing it. It takes a fair bit for me to go from calm, sedate person and go here. Working in retail, I'm much more likely to respond to people being mean with kindness, because if you're kind to somebody who is being mean to you, they don't have that energy to bounce off of. M is for Malice. What's a memorably evil character who sticks with you? Regal from the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. He is Fitz's uncle, but he also happens to come from the king's second marriage, and he does some absolutely diabolical things to Fitz. I is for the internet. Is there a person on it that regularly infuriates you? Definitely. Of course. Again, if someone happens to anger me online, then I mute them or I block them because I don't need to interact with them. E is for eradication. Is there a book you'd erase from existence, and if so, why? No. With every book, you have people who are fans, and you have people who dislike it, and then you have people who fall in the middle. And in terms of books that we hate, even when we hate a book, we're learning something from it, aren't we, really? We are developing our tastes and recognising what we do and don't like to see in fiction. There's no point in eradicating anything because it just reduces your view. S is for seething. Is there a book that still enrages you years later? Definitely. But I tend to have forgotten them. People will mention a book on their channel and I will have forgotten about it. And then the mere mention of it causes rage to rise in me. And I don't say anything. Because that's a me issue, that's not a reviewer issue or a booktuber issue. Sometimes me and other booktubers have conversed about a book we've disliked outside of the booktube sphere. Chances are within the next week someone will mention a book that I previously despised. But I'll still be kind. When Emily tagged me, she said that she thought she'd be interested in how I'd do this because I'm known for being a bit of a disdainful, angry old bugger. Whilst I am woefully fed up with the world, and whilst I will continue to despise people and the entire population with every single fibre of my being, I still choose kindness. I'm not going to tag anyone because, quite frankly, I can't be bothered. But, once again, if you want to do this tag, feel free. Say you were tagged by me. Come back in the comments and tell me whether or not you did this. If you have any enemies, then good for you. Keep that energy in your life. I'm not judging you. You have your enemies. You have that fight with a Brussels sprout every morning. I don't care. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And until next time, that is all.